Hey, welcome to part 2 in our series on what to eat when you're sick. Now, we've already covered the food component as far as what we want to avoid and what we want to eat more of. And then I'm going to show you a few supplements that you can take. Now, I'm very reluctant to share supplements on this channel because I feel like we're all different, and the things that we need we can almost always get from food, and it's cheaper and more efficient. But there are some times that you may want to supplement your body in times of stress or illness. So let me show you a few of the things that I think are very powerful and important to consider. Now, before we get into this, I want you to remember that this is not official medical advice. Always consult your trusted healthcare professional before you do anything with your healthcare. I'm also tailoring this video to more of like older children and adults. If you have a baby, always talk to your healthcare provider. Now, some things that I increase when I'm ill. The first one is fermented cod liver oil. This one is by Green Pastures. I love it. If you've never studied the benefits of cod liver oil, we should absolutely do that. But the vitamin A in here, the fat-soluble vitamins, are powerful for your immune system. So these are important. I will leave you links to all of these things in the description box so you can check them out later. Tylenol and ibuprofen and fevers and all that kind of stuff. I have now, after 20 years as a nurse, have decided that I feel like maybe we treat fevers a little too quickly, right? As soon as somebody is 99.8 or 99.5 or whatever, we're like, oh, we have a fever, I've got to give you some medicine. You don't have a fever technically till 100.4, all right? And I am now changing the way that I treat fevers for my family and doing more supportive care until we get to something a little bit higher. But I'm personally not treating fevers until they're over 103, okay? Now, if you're going to treat a fever, everybody goes for Tylenol or ibuprofen. So do as you will with those, right? But I'm going to recommend a couple of things. The lesser of the evils, which this is an ibuprofen that is dye-free. Let me see if I can get it turned around here. Now, if you all don't know my story, my daughter is highly allergic to synthetic food dyes, so we try to keep those out of the house, and they're in everything, including our medicines. And so we keep the dye-free ibuprofen on hand for her from time to time when she needs it. But I try to avoid this as much as possible. Now, the next thing is Tylenol. So this is Genexa, and I'm not being sponsored by them. I'm not part of any of their affiliate programs. This is just a slightly cleaner option for medications. So if you're not familiar with this, Tylenol, ibuprofen, a lot of your over-the-counter medications are full of fillers, parabens, titanium dioxide, synthetic colors and dyes, all kinds of stuff that you don't need. So if you choose to take a Tylenol, I would highly recommend that you get one that's cleaner. So Genexa makes a whole line of cleaner medications, and this is one that I have picked up from them. This is the just the extra strength Tylenol, and you know, for us it's worth it to have it. This one says that it's free from red 40, aluminum lake, titanium dioxide, propylene glycol, and more. So it is a better option. And speaking of Genexa, this is my Arnica. This is what I take for body aches. Now, this is not a fever reducer, but it is something that you can use for body aches, joint aches, muscle pain, that kind of thing. And they work pretty good. And to be really honest, I have never been a big fan of homeopathics. I just never felt like they did much for me. But this is a homeopathic, and you can give it to children between the ages of 3 and 11 and all the way up through adult. And this is one that we really like. No side effects from it, no problems with it, and I reach for this one pretty often. The next one that I think is important, so this is Leafy. This is Leafy brand. This is called Prana, and this is another one of those muscle ache option kind of medications. It's all natural, and this one is made from turmeric and ginger and black pepper. It's a tincture. Doesn't taste that bad at all, and it's one that really works well for joint aches and muscle aches and body aches. Again, not a fever reducer, and this one is pretty expensive. Let me see if I can get it where you can see. It's pretty expensive, so it's one of those things you have to consider, you know, how much you'll use it. I'm going to throw these two in as well. They were some that I picked up from Genexa. I have not tried these, but one is called Cold Crush, and one is their cough and chest congestion. Now, there are no cough medicines on the market that I believe work. None. I would rather give you honey and dark chocolate and have you eat that instead, put you over steamy water, give you some peppermint oil, anything besides the cough medicines that are on our market today. So I don't know how this one's going to work. It's got the standard guaifenesin and dextromorphin in it. It probably won't do a whole lot, but I have these on hand just because I thought I'd try them out. I am not an essential oil believer. I think they can be supplemental tools in a lot of ways in your life, but I don't believe that they are a cure-all, just like I don't believe that any one particular vitamin or supplement is a cure-all. So I'm going to show you this one because I think it's important, and it is one of the few that I do believe is important, and that is peppermint oil. I use peppermint for just about everything. If you are vomiting, if you're having diarrhea, you want some peppermint oil. For fever reduction, this actually does work. You can put just a little bit down your spine. And again, you do not use this on children, okay? Any child under the age of a year, or maybe it's 2, you don't use peppermint oil on. So this is to be used respectfully. You know, they're still powerful tools. Down your spine, you can mix it with a little bit of olive oil before you put it on if you want a little bit of a more subtle effect. But this is great for lowering a fever. It's great for migraines. It's great for body aches. If my kids have a stomach virus, which it's been many years since anybody's had a stomach virus in our house, I put this on the soles of their feet in order to help it absorb into their system without them having to swallow it or anything like that, and it kind of helps to ease the symptoms of the stomach virus. It's incredibly important if you're going to use an essential oil that you're getting them from a reputable company. Now there are lots of those out there. You can pick whatever you want. This one comes from Revive, which is pretty affordable, and I have come to really like their products, and I'll leave you a link to where you can pick these up in the description box. Do not buy your essential oils at Walmart or Target or TJ Maxx or anything like that. You run the risk of picking up something that's contaminated or they've used like rancid oils in them, or they've got added chemicals in them, and you absolutely do not want to be ingesting anything like that, so make sure they're coming from a safe source. Another super handy bit of information to have is elderberry. Now, elderberries are great for some people. I personally cannot use these because of my autoimmune disease. Anytime you take something and you have an autoimmune disease, anything like this that's going to boost your immune system, it boosts all the parts of your immune system, including the parts that are broken, and you will end up sometimes with flares of your illness or sicker than you started out if you are not careful. But for people who don't have autoimmune diseases, you can make your own elderberry syrup. Now, elderberry syrup itself has a pretty short expiration date on it, maybe 30 days from the time that you make it. That's why I just keep the berries on hand, and you can make the syrup as needed and give everybody a teaspoon, you know, once a day. That kind of thing is very helpful. So I'll leave you a link to where to get some berries. And the last thing I want to show you, don't leave, just bear with me, is this concoction right here. This is fire cider. So this is actually a blend of a whole bunch of really powerful food. And when I tell you what's in here, you're probably going to want to faint. But it's an orange, a lemon, an onion, several cloves of garlic, 5 or 6 I think, turmeric, black peppercorns, a chili flake, a big hot chili out of my garden, gosh, I'll have to go back and check a horseradish and ginger, and then you top the whole thing off. You grind all that together, pulp and all, and you top it off with apple cider vinegar, and you let it soak for 6 weeks. And then you strain it, and you drink like a tablespoon a day, and this stuff is power. This is powerful food, people. And so I am on about week 5 with mine. I'm going to strain this out, and we'll be ready to start drinking this about in next week, which is just in time for all the illnesses that are creeping around right now. And I'm going to put this in a little bit of juice for my kids so they can get it down. But I tasted it last night, and you would be shocked at how good it is. Like, I thought it was going to be the most disgusting and palatable thing I'd ever seen, and it is actually really pretty good. So I'm going to leave you a link to how to make it, and I'm going to leave that link in the description box for you so you can check it out yourself. Now, if you've not seen my previous video on foods to eat when you're sick, I'm going to leave you a link to that one right here. I'll see you there, and I wish you wellness and a great day. Bye, guys.